I spent 7 hours playing Incursion Red River on hard mode. I set a challenge for myself. I was going to complete one operation on hardest difficulty setting. Not realising that doing so would very nearly drive me to gamer despair. And so, after 7 failed attempts, lots of lost weaponry and kit, I began to feel sorry for myself and began to believe that hard mode as a solo player is impossible in this game. But I don't give up too easy. I wanted to give it one last attempt. On this occasion, I spawned in at the northern part of the map, north of the warehouse. My mission: travel to the outpost, pick up some intelligence and plant it at a cache in the warehouse. In order to do this, I'd brought with me a trusty FN FAL rifle, adorned with a scope, perfect for long range shooting and picking off guards. Having snuck through part of the warehouse, I made my way to a watchtower, hoping to get a bearing on enemy forces. Here I received a stark reminder of how potentially deadly hard mode enemies can be. I immediately came under fire from somewhere within the quarry. Accurate fire that compelled me to take cover. I wasn't even able to find where the shooting was actually coming from exactly, and so decided to withdraw from the area. And indeed, I was able to break contact and make my way to an overwatched position from where I could look down into the outpost. My hope was to locate enemy forces, as well as the location of my first objective. But here also, the eagle-eyed enemy would force me to fall back. I had to change my position and reset myself. I was not willing to take any stupid chances on this, my 8th run into the quarry. Having done so, I was able to engage one of the guards in the tower. But even as I tried to make my way down the hillside towards the outpost, I continued to come under fire from unseen enemies. Stealth had gone completely by the board now, and I had to continuously move to keep out of range of the enemy shots. I believe I'd dealt with most of the towers, but now I could hear enemy voices. They were drawing in from my location. Already I could feel the despairing pain of failure creeping over me. Every route I tried to take had been blocked by the enemy, and they were tightening the noose around me as I tried to make progress. Shit! Leg it! Fuck! Where is he? Fucking run! I found myself constantly retreating from one enemy, only to run square into another. Ooh. Oh, like that. It was obvious to me now what I had to do. I had to fight my way through their cordon and get into that outpost. Shit. Fucking drop him. Oh, he hurt me. But now I was in trouble. I was wounded, bleeding, and I had no bandages left. I was very much now against the clock, and still coming under fire from unseen enemies. The situation now was incredibly desperate. I had to get into the outpost, fire myself a bandage, or I could never succeed in this mission. Right, charge down the hill. Oh shit! Fucking get behind the truck quick! Fuck! Oh, I'm hurt. Oh no! Fuck! I had failed again. The game mocked me with its bold writing, telling me so. This was the final straw. I could not go on. And yet I had some daft inability to admit when I was beaten, when it was time to give up and move on. I returned, several hours later mind you, but as determined as ever to see this through to victory. I redeployed near the northeast abandoned village. This time my mission, to plant 5 bugs around the outposts and base area of the map. However, I had mistakenly deployed in the early hours of the morning. It was still nighttime, still dark. I decided now that I'd find a comfortable place to hide and await sunup. I was once again equipped with an FN FAL, enhanced with a scope. This time I would use the main road that followed the course of the river to the main gate of the base, and I was determined to use as much stealth and patience as possible, combined with calm, accurate shooting to clear my path to victory. Even with this strategy in mind, there were still a number of close calls on my way to the base.
Check it out.
Oh, bloody hell. At last I'd reached the road checkpoint, the watchtower between the main base and the village in the northeast, and immediately come under fire when scaling the stairs. Though feeling suppressed at this moment, I was not about to let defeatism invade my mind. I was manifesting my victory in my mind. I was going to win. Finally, after a good deal of sneaking, I arrived close to the main front gate of the base. All I had to do was eliminate the guards and sneak in. But this itself was not a straightforward thing to do.
Proceed with caution.
Oh shit! Oh man, he's alive! Oh man, he nearly messed me up. Bloody hell. My strategy now for clearing the base was to take long distance shots wherever I could, preferably taking the enemy by surprise and not allowing them to shoot back at me. Of course, for the men in the towers, this was bad news. Their elevated positions not only gave them better visibility of the surrounding area, it also made them fairly easy targets. At last I had breached the base. I was in. All I had to do was remain stealthy and take my enemies by surprise. I decided it would be a good strategy to use the guard towers, shooting enemies from a distance to clear my path. Before pushing on to my primary objective, that of planting the bugs, I decided to move stealthily around to other points of concealment or elevation, from where I could kill the enemy from places of relative safety. However, while securing the wider area and searching bodies, I was very fortunate not to meet my end. Having taken shelter in a pillbox, I was able to get the drop on my surprise attack. This had been far too close a call, and once again it instilled the fear in me that enemies on hard mode do not fuck about. It was time for me to get on with my primary objective, planting the 5 bugs around the base. The first was within the building, on top of which I had been sniping my enemies. The second and third were in a hangar, and I snuck over carefully, not to be spotted or heard. 2 down, 3 more to go. Things were getting extremely tense. There was still a good number of enemy out there. Every now and then, I'd hear their voices. The third target for bugging was in a rather perilous place, the open end of the hangar building I was in. But I secured it safely with no enemy to be seen. But the tension was building. It was almost unbearable by this point. Bear in mind that by this point I had been in the raid for nearly 2 hours, including the time spent waiting for sunrise. But overall, since starting this challenge, I've been at it, on and off, for 3 days. This was my 9th raid. I did not want to fail now that I was so close to that victory. I had to concentrate. At last I found the location for the 4th bug, on a large shipping container. The base now was so utterly quiet, perhaps because I'd killed all the enemy, I don't know. Some were surely still about, but the stillness, the silence, added to the tension. I expected a shot to ring out at any moment, to kill me, to finish me. At this point, such an end would be totally devastating to me. I pushed on towards the last bugging location, and to the extraction point. Onwards to victory. The last bugging location was in another hangar, and I was watching my back every single step of the way, checking every crevice of the base to make sure no enemies lurked where they might spring out and kill me. It's probably worth pointing out that I'd also been somewhat wounded since one of the early engagements, having to use painkillers, constantly to see me through the mission. At last, the last bugging location. Bug fixed, it was time to head home. Home to the hideout, home to where it was safe. Mission accomplished. All I'd have to do is make that short dash across the open ground to the red smoke. Hold my ground there for 10 seconds and I was home and dry. But needless to say, my heart was beating hard. As desperate as I was to finish the mission, I couldn't help but waste time, as if going for that final exit would be the end of me. But at last, it was time. One last quick pain pill, and I was going to make my move across the open ground to the extraction point, regardless of any enemies left to try and kill me. First I'd move out to the boxes just behind the helicopter, then I'd run for the extraction point. I made it to the boxes without drama, and now the last 100 yards across open ground to the red smoke, and I was home. It was time to make my last run. Right, here we go. Made it this far, come on. Let's get out of here. 4, 3, 2, 1. Fucking did it! At last! Fuck!